Hi guys, Natural Lighting Brain here today. Yes, you may hear birds in the background. That's because it's an incredible day outside, right, Find? It's an incredible day outside. Incredible day out, isn't it, son? Yeah, so I won't be closing that window no matter what happens. So if you hear birds in the background, get over it. Go touch some grass. I touch grass today. You can touch grass today. But anyways, I wanted to talk about the changes that have been made to skill-based matchmaking, because that's been a big thing lately. Is the improvements that are being made to skill-based matchmaking based on the tests that they did with the MMR. So essentially, they did a multitude of tests. They did a whole lot of different things. They tried expanding, shortening, the caps on everything. They tried doing grade-based matchmaking. They tried doing a whole lot of weird stuff. So there's a lot of things they tried. But the TLDR that you need to know that's important to you is that they came away with two main takeaways. One, it was bad that low players, like low MMR players, were ending up in matches with people that they were not prepared for and were getting discouraged from playing the game. Second, people in the high tier, the high MMR, were really, really upset and not having fun and getting burnt out in the game because all they got were very, very intense, very, very strong players nonstop. They had no player variety at the higher level, which made their games pretty miserable. So essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it to where low tier players will only interact with low tier players and high tier players have a wider range, and they're trying to make it to where the higher tier players have a wider range because they're lowering the cap for skill ratings. So I don't know what that will be. That probably have to be like data mined or whatever, but they're essentially making it to where that soft cap is a little wider. So essentially TLDR, that means that like you're going to be getting more like mid-range players, in your high tier games, in your high MMR games. Which I think is totally fine, because like that's honestly, if you've played other games that have MMR, that's kind of like more normal, because it's kind of like you're testing your metal, if that makes sense. Like you're testing your metal is like, okay, can I enter this higher bracket? Can I enter this higher skill-based matchmaking tier? Can I get into this higher MMR? And so that makes more sense, while also alleviating the pressure on higher MMR players, because they don't feel like they're only finding other higher tier players, which can be very stressful and exhausting over time, which is literally like my only issue with Dead by Daylight. If I'm being frank with you, like perks are strong and that's annoying, but like I don't think I would whine about Dead Hard as much if I didn't see it literally every single game. If I didn't see a team of 3 people running in almost every single game, I wouldn't care as much, right? And vice versa on the killer side. Like, I don't think people hate slowdown as much as they think they do, but if you're getting like almost every other killer running triple slowdown, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to have to play that intensive a match literally all the time. I think that's people's main issue. Also, grades will be removed because people, for some reason, even though skill-based matchmaking has been a thing for almost a year at this point, like we're getting on a year now, we're getting close to a year, people still think that grades have something to do with matchmaking, which is just kind of stupid, kind of silly. So they're just going to remove it, period, so that they can stop receiving complaints about grade-related things, because it literally has nothing to do with anything. I did have a problem with this, but Toto came up with a great solution. Is like, it's kind of weird just to have like the grades over there if they're just blank and they don't have any messages. Just put their portraits over there. Put the portrait of the killer, put the portrait of the survivor, because like the only way to check who was who in the post game menu is like go up to the top and actually check the match settings menu. But if you just put their portraits on the side, you don't have to do that anymore. So I think it's just a nice quality of life change that they could do. But yeah, this gives me hope. Because if like literally that's just like the only thing that I worry about in Dead by Daylight, is just like not having my matches feel intense all the time. If my matches don't feel intense all the time, then that's literally it. I can play this game forever, and I do mean that. Like if they get rid of that, like that issue, that problem, I'm good. I'm literally good forever. Like I can just play this game until it dies. Like I literally mean it. So I have hope. Prage that this makes skill-based matchmaking not as brutal, and that we can finally start enjoying this game as the casual party game that it's supposed to be again. And hopefully that switches the game back to its more fun roots and not and away from this incredibly awful, sweaty situation that they've turned the game into. So yeah, I just want to say that, like, I say a lot of like, why doesn't behavior listen? Why doesn't behavior care about this perk? Like, I'm always like on their case, I feel like, but like I am very happy that they seemingly have just decided hey, this wasn't working in its current form, because that stubbornness to stick with skill-based matchmaking has had measurable results on not only our experience, but their experience on like the back end. So I'm glad that they kind of like, you know, smelled the roses a little bit, and they're willing to make changes, and even say in the bottom of this developer update that they're willing to like continue to make changes to it to make it better. And it's just, I don't know, it's really great. And I'm really happy that they are taking the time to do this instead of just like sticking in the mud and sticking to their guns. And I think one of the best quotes, and I don't know who made it, is that just because you spend a lot of time making a mistake does not mean it's a good one. Just because you spend a lot of time making the mistake does not mean you have to commit to it. And I think that's really great, and it shows the maturity that I think I don't see very often from them, and it makes me really happy. And like I said, it makes me very, very hopeful, and I don't get to say that very much. So thank you for doing a good, friendo. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one, friends. Hopefully these changes do improve and make things better for us. And if we don't, well, we're just back in the same place. So it's not actually that bad if you really think about it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. And if I don't, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.